Hi folks, this is Strudel Dog, also known as North Georgia Mountain Fruit Grower. Um, Showing you some persimmon. I've picked, most of these were picked yesterday. A few of them been picked prior, been in the fridge for a short time. I've probably got about 20 different cultivars I have to show here today. I probably grow about 40 cultivars total. Some of them actually probably could be the same, especially when you get onto the non-astringent types. They really hard to tell the difference between one and another if they're ripened to the same level. And let's start off here with this is what Ellie Cook sells as Fuyu. And Ellie Cook, being a West Coast nursery, is probably means this is Giro, because from my understanding, and I think Ellie Cook even states that it's Giro, a lot of the Fuyus sold on the West Coast are actually Giro. Nice tree. Right in the back of it here are maybe the last of my Rosy Ancas. My Rosy Anca tree really put on nice for me this year. I like it. It's a 50-50 Virginiana khaki hybrid, cold hardy. Mine was very productive, and I dehydrated a bunch of them. In fact, there's a bag of dehydrated Rosy Anca over there. Nice tree. This is what I actually think to be true Fuyu, or at least it was definitely sold to me as Fuyu. It's a nice fruit. Nothing wrong with regular old standard Fuyu. This is a, well, I don't really want to call it an unknown. I'll say it a lost label tree. It was a grafted tree from Just Fruits and Exotics. I think it's one of the Giros, but I don't know. Probably never know for sure. It's a nice, productive tree. Puts out a lot of good fruit for me. Going over here. Here's an astringent Howard River. I've dehydrated a bunch of Howard River. It's a very productive tree for me. Very, very nice fruit. These are hard yet. Still got a lot of those fruit on the tree, and I've already harvested a bunch. This is a few Great Walls left. These were from my cabin I went up to a couple weeks ago. Great Walls, smaller tree, but it's got a nice, pretty shape. It's probably, from my experience, has been as cold hardy, handled the cold as well as any khaki that I have. And I know it's used by some folks in hybridizing, probably to try to impart that. Here's some Sajos. Not that good of examples to Sajo. They again were picked at my cabin a while back. My Sajo trees here, I pretty much eat every one as they get ripened. My trees here are younger than at my cabin, but I picked these is because they probably would have been passed by the time I get up there. I don't get up there real often. They still kind of show the segmentation lines when they're ripe, but they plump up and just nice tasting little fruit. Right beside it here, this little red guy, beautiful fruit, is my last Nikita's gift. Love Nikita's gift. It's actually a parent, it's actually a child of Rosy Anca, which is 50-50. I think it was crossed back with khaki, so this is probably 75% khaki, 25% Virginiana. I'm not exactly sure of that. I have to ask the folks over at Nikita's Botanical Garden, I guess. I think the other name for it is, a lot of people call it Nikita's Gift, but I think the formal name is something like Nikichi Bradava or something. Even if I had it spelled right, I probably couldn't pronounce it correct, but that's another name for it, I believe. Like it, it's an astringent. My tree sets a bunch of fruit, but drops a lot. The only time it really hasn't dropped a lot is when I had a pollinator, which I removed. So I might, I don't know, considering putting a pollinator back in or getting Nikita's Gift established in another section I'm going to do that has more pollinators. Beside it here is well, these are Tam Cam, big fruit astringent. I picked them I picked them at the cabin too. I should pull, well, I actually picked them because way early. They might not even, they won't even, they'll ripen up, but they won't be prime, that's for sure. But I wanted to give people a sample of them, and I probably wouldn't have made it up to my cabin in time. That tree's pretty productive for me. I probably have it's one of my older trees. I've got a bunch on the tree that I probably need to get up there and pick. I dehydrate a lot of it too. It's not my favorite astringent. Here's a Okigosho, however you pronounce it. Begins with an O, K-U, and Gosho. Maybe a couple other letters in there. It's a smaller, non-astringent than most of them, roundish. I don't have a lot of fruit off that tree yet. I've got a couple instances of it in my orchards. But a little non-astringent that not too many people grow, I don't think. Matsumoto was Fuyu. This is a grapefruit. It's a sport, but a earlier fruiting version of Fuyu. These are from my cabin too. It's early. I really like it for the early ripening. I'm eating it, and these actually were picked at my cabin too, where my older trees are. They're very productive. In fact, too productive. I should thin them a little bit better than what I do. It's a nice tree. Coming over here, oh, this is Guyambo or Guyambo. Depends on which nursery you buy it. It could be spelled with an M or an N. Not astringent. Nice tree. My trees are younger. In fact, one of those is off a grafted branch off another tree. People really like it, and as I start growing it, I'm understanding why. I have limited tastes of it last year, and it didn't seem to lose its astringency that fast. It may be the case, and so it seems that far that this year, but I guess maybe I'm just a little bit more anxious to taste it, and so maybe I rush things a little bit and don't let the fruit get too prime. I call this one PMG. I think it's an actual another Fuyu tree. Got it from a place well, one tree I bought for them was supposed to be Seijo, maybe this one, and it surely wasn't Seijo. So I don't know exactly what it is. Again, probably never will. Then I've got a couple of the Korean non-astringents here. This is Tam Cam. A lot of people say it's a little bit more cold hardy. I don't know that it is or not, but another nice non-astringent. I've actually got it from two different places. These are from Just Fruits and Exotics. This one always, this is grafted from USDA, ARS Davis. Always seems to have a more segmented shape to me. I don't know if one of them's not Tam Cam or if I'm, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. They're ripening the same time about that, but I'll say that. The other Korean non-astringent I have here is Gwangyang. I think this is the first year it's fruited for me. I might have had one fruit on it last year. I probably shouldn't have left many fruit on it this year. It's a real small tree, but I did. So far, I like it a lot. Now here comes maybe my best non-astringent. I call it Guyambo Knot. It may be Hanafuyu. I don't know. I don't know if it's Hanafuyu, but it's definitely big, compact, covers me up with fruit. That I probably got another that much more on the tree off a small tree. Puts off like very productive, tasty fruit. A little bit later than some of the others, but and it's holds them all. Doesn't drop anything. I call it Guyambo Knot because that's what it was sold to me from Just Fruits Exotics at. It's not, but sometimes you can be blessed with mistakes. And I really, really like that tree. I probably shouldn't call it Guyambo Knot. I should just call it some unknown lost label astringent because it'll confuse people, but that's how I've grown up calling it, I guess. Here's Ichikajiro, another one of the Jiro family. Nice nice tree, on a small compact tree like it. Here's well, I don't know, it's definitely a nice non-astringent, puts out good big fruit. I got that from someone that didn't know what it was, but again, I probably won't either. Here's a couple packages of stuff. Like here's the Tananashi, one that I don't really like the flavor of fresh, but it makes nice dried fruit. And here's a package of Rosianka. Dehydrator got a lot of work this year. And for you folks that, you know, I don't know, I guess that want to grow one of everything, I guess I fall into that category. You may not need to on especially the non-astringents. Like I said, if I didn't have little labels and tried to keep them straight, I don't always keep them straight. They're so indiscernible between some of the different ones if you let them ripen to the same degree. And those of you as well, I can identify a Giro because I've seen one, I've seen them all. And if you've just been looking at limited number of fruit, let me tell you, you can't. Unless you're a lot more skilled in areas I'm not, because you can get a nice fruit and a bad fruit. Not necessarily bad, but less. You can get an awesome fruit and other fruit that's maybe not as sweet or as flavorful off the same tree. You can get a lot of different shaped fruit, slightly different shaped fruit off the same tree as well. So unless you really want to grow different ones, you pick out a couple non-astringents and astringents, you'll probably be happy. And I'm going to go ahead and, hey, I saw this laying here, I was walking by, putting together a light, but I'm going to go ahead and ground my Persimmon of the Year, my Gambo Knot, for production and nice looking flavorful fruit. This is Strudel Dog on a rainy morning where I can't get out and work in the North Georgia mountains. Have a great day.